We were promised that doing everything a man does would finally set us free. But lately, I look around at the women in my life and I don't see freedom. I see exhaustion. We've been sold this idea that equality means sameness, that we should work the same hours, split the bills equally, and hustle with the exact same energy as men. But we forgot something incredibly basic. We forgot about biology. And I think we need to have a very honest, maybe slightly uncomfortable conversation about why modern feminism is leaving so many women completely burned out. I've been thinking a lot lately about the architecture of relationships, about polarity, and what it actually means to be a woman in the modern world. If you've been on the internet lately, you've probably noticed how angry everyone is. There is this massive wave of main-hating content on TikTok right now, and while it's easy to dismiss it as toxic, I've been looking at it a bit deeper, and I don't think these women actually hate men. I think they are profoundly and deeply resentful. And honestly, I get it. I have found myself in that exact same loop of stress and burnout. So today, I want to share my personal philosophy on why I no longer think feminism has one single definition, and why I've stopped looking for a relationship that is equal and started to looking for one that is fair. I want to preface by saying this is purely my personal opinion. It's certainly not a general rule when it comes to these topics. There are really no absolute right or wrong. The most important thing is simply to take responsibility, reflect, and actively design your own life. It's about choose your own path rather than just blindly following what is considered common, normal, or socially accepted in that age and place. Let's talk about equal. Society tells us if a woman goes out, works 40 hours a week, and splits the rent 50-50, she has achieved equality. But that is the reality we are all pretending doesn't exist. Women have entirely different biological responsibilities. We have fluctuating hormones. We have literal physical cycles that change our energy levels from week to week. So we go through pregnancy, childbirth, breastfeeding, postpartum recovery, yet the expectation is that we completely ignore this. We are supposed to quietly medicate our pain, ignore our bleeding, and show up to the exact same corporate meetings with the same linear energy as men, as if these biological realities are just minor inconveniences. When you take the biological burden that only a woman can carry and you stack a 50-50 financial and career burden on top of it, you haven't created equality. You've just piled more responsibility onto her plate and told her to smile through it. As a woman right now, we want to have a great career, we want to build a home, have kids, make our own money, grow a business, and on top of all of that, we are expected to take perfect care of ourselves. Stay fit, stay pretty, have aesthetic hobbies, cultivate an interesting personality, and keep up with all our friends. It's getting genuinely stressful, and I have to be completely honest, I find myself a victim of this exact loop. Now, I'm not dismissing the benefits of the modern path. This way of living does guarantee financial independence and freedom, which is a massive perk. I have my own career, I make my own money, I get to buy and do whatever I want, and I deeply value that freedom. But at a certain point, you have to question what is actually most important to you. Sometimes you have to sacrifice something to properly sort the priorities in your life, because if you refuse to compromise and you try to choose all of it, your mental and physical health will be the thing that is sacrificed by default. It's an impossible standard, and trying to keep up with it will break you. There is really a dark contradiction in how society treats women right now, especially when it comes to family. A man decides he wants a family, and his life largely remains the same. But a woman pays for that decision with her body, she pays it with her health, her hormone, her career, and her physical freedom. But the moment a woman acknowledges this cost, the moment she expects a man to step up to provide financial security, to offer comfort or a home in exchange for what she is physically sacrificing, she is immediately labeled materialistic. She's called an opportunist. Do you see how rigid that game is? If you lean into traditional femininity, society judges you for lacking of ambition. If you lean into modern, hyper-independent feminism, you end up doing absolutely everything yourself until you burn out and realize you don't even have a space for a man in your life anyway. This is where I had to completely restructure my own mindset. I stopped caring about things being equal and started caring about things being fair. Equality is a mathematical equation. Fairness is a balance of energies. It's yin and yang. I really believe in polarity. Masculine energy is about providing and protecting. Feminine energy is about nurturing and creating. And I don't mean that in the 50s type of way. I mean it in an energetic truth. A man can provide the structure of a house, but a woman's energy turns it into a home. A man can go out and provide the groceries and ingredients, but a woman's touch turns it into a warm meal. There is an alchemy to femininity, but you cannot be an alchemist if you're constantly in a state of survival and hyper-independence. You cannot tap into your dark, calm, magnetic, feminine energy if you are constantly exhausted from trying to prove you are just as tough as a man. And to actually live this way without building up resentment, you have to have a partner who understands this balance. You have to design an intentional structure for your life together. When my husband and I were navigating all of this, trying to make sure our shared life felt fair, we realized that keeping a mental scorecard of who did what was destroying our peace. The mental load is usually what crushes women, remembering what needs to be bought, planned, or fixed. We actually rely on an app we've been working on called We Can Duo to manage this. It's a quiet little system we use to organize our routines and shared responsibilities. It takes the noise out of my head and puts it into a structure we both share. When you have a system holding the logistics of your life, you don't have to be the manager of your own relationship. You can just be the partner. You can relax back into your natural energy. I think the ultimate form of modern feminism isn't proving that we don't need men. It's having the boundaries and the self-respect to say, I'm incredibly capable, but I refuse to do it alone. It's okay to want to be provided for, it's okay to want a soft life, it's okay to step out of the masculine hustle and prioritize your peace, your art, and your hope. Femininity is not a weakness, it's a very quiet, very powerful force, but it requires an environment where it feels safe enough to rest. So perhaps the most radical thing we can do right now isn't to keep proving to the world that we can do it all. Perhaps it's simply asking ourselves why we're still choosing to carry it. Let's just take a quiet moment to rethink how we actually want to contribute to our relationships, to society as deeply powerful women, while learning how to genuinely coexist and partner with the men in our lives. See you in the next one.